Jimmy Christmas for Luger Boa. Alright, so this is the second album for Luger Boa, and it's been quite an exciting and long process really. The record was written in a crazy 14-day period in November 2009, recorded in February 2010, and taken backwards and forwards across the Tasman to be battered into shape. And through the course of the year we've been releasing singles and going through all the hoops and jumps that it takes to sort of release a record on an album. Through the record company, and it's coming out as an independent release on Stuka Records. So it's very exciting, quite an emotional time. So the album was written in about 14 days, I think, from start to finish, which is how I tend to work creatively in sort of a mass, sort of crazed burst, and then worked with the band, and then we rehearsed all the material up, and the band brought in all the colours and the real flavour to it, and then we took it away and we went and lived with each other for the recording period, which I really enjoyed. It was something that I did, I've done previously, and I find recording with a band in the environment and completely immersing ourselves in the space is to be really beneficial. So we did that out in Waiuku, and band camp, and got drunk, kicked around, made rock and roll music, fucked with amps, made noises, and really immersed ourselves in the whole experience. And I think that's the real pleasure of the second record as well. The first record was very much a considered process, and then the songs were written, and then people came in and assisted in building it, whereas the Luger band has been together now for a couple of years, and that or longer, since the release of the first record, when the live band started to take form and then gelled into the current lineup with Sam, Simon, Ryan was with us, and Joe. And at that time on the road and that whole essential what it is to be a band really changed the face of this record and made it something much more than it could have been. So that living together and playing together and stuff was really vital, and those guys are incredible players, so it was a real palette and a real amazing thing to be able to craft stuff from. And then of course I needed to lyrically, I had so much sort of boiling around inspiration that had come from long nights on K Road, I guess, a lot of it, and then I spent the solitary time that I needed, and I did that in Melbourne, and then finished all the lyrics and vocals and stuff in Melbourne, and brought it back, and then mixed in America and all that sort of crazy stuff that you do when you make records. The first album being much more myself. This is very much a band album, I think, and the way that the time that we spent together and the playing on the record, and the time that we spent on the road, I just think just that squeezed in a van, playing the live shows, which is where really, in my rock and roll gets forged, in the fire of the live environment, and those shared experiences, and that shared conversation and connection that you get with a band spills onto this record. So this is very much a band record. There's just some of the playing on this record just blows my mind. Having worked alongside these guys with the likes of with Sam, some of the sounds that these guys got out of their instruments was just something that I couldn't really conceive previously, so it's evolved phenomenally. And Simon's bass playing is probably as thunderous as it comes, and he's a real hardcore punker from way back, and a perfect foil when it comes to playing a rhythm section with the likes of Joe McElhenney, a mysterious drummer from the south who came up, was only the only choice to join the band, and he just blew this album apart. So being in a gang is really important to me. In this record, I feel like it's the Luger Boa gang. Yeah, and so we're actually in the back alley here. We're behind K Road, and the artwork on this record I'm really proud of. The guy Barney who worked on it with me, Indian design, is a genius, and the concept behind it was, the album is kind of a loose concept of intertwining stories of an endless night out, and a lot of the lyrical content came from an observational, in this case, because lyrics sometimes are deeply personal and sometimes observational and sometimes a blend of the two, because it's, for me, maybe sometimes I see myself reflected in things I shouldn't. And so what we've done is we created a fictional environment and melded all these buildings together and recreated an imaginary streetscape, and then we had a massive photo session down in the bar around where it all happened, and where all our friends and compadres populated this crazy street environment and represent the characters and the stories that go along inside it. And it's the actual putting together of the artwork was also just a really beautiful thing. I mean, because we could have just slapped a cover on it, gone, let's do a cover, because hey, money's tight and all that sort of stuff, and everybody's trying to do stuff different ways, and
we're going to download it and
just stick it up, but I've always been one of those people that likes to pore over. I'm old school. I like records. I like album sleeves. I want to know what this actually kind of signifies. I'm always disappointed when I open a CD cover or record cover and it's just one picture. I'm kind of going, well, So as a piece of art, and because we'd invested ourselves so much in it, I wanted to make sure that the artwork was reflective of that, and I just think it's really awesome. So,
So this is on the back cover.
We're in the back cover position. The front cover position is on the far side of K Road, and everything that happens in the middle. But of what ultimately is just a sort of twisted imaginary streetscape full of twisted imaginary people. Any resemblance, living or dead, purely the result of madness. And so that's the album and its environs, and I hope that people will appreciate it, because we're really looking forward to taking the core of it out on the road, because essentially what Luger Boa does in a completely different way is the live experience. I've always been very focused on the live and making a hot live band, and all the studio work and artwork is fantastic, but we got some fresh blood in the band now. The esteemed Johnny Lyon has jumped on board, and the boy can blaze. So we've got gigs coming out west. We're playing Rock Out West, which is going to be exciting, because actually going out west has been a really difficult thing in the past. I've been playing in bands for years, and actually playing to some of the real, which I think are going to be really into what we're doing. But they're coming up. We're playing around the country. We've got some. We're going to Rotorua, going to Pukekohe, and then we're organising a massive national tour for later this year. And of course, there's going to be the album release party. So right now, behind the scenes, the band is working very hard to get everything even more fiery than it sounds on record. And it's actually a different beast, and that's what I really enjoy about it. The Luger records are really complex in certain ways. There's a lot of, I've really enjoyed the ability to make something multicolored and and have a lot of different moods, and then bringing that to the stage is another real challenge. And I think that what we do on stage is again that communication of what a band can bring, and a really good hot working band that have a communication and spend time under pressure and in vans and on the road, and then we'll be looking to take this whole thing overseas, which has been an obstacle for us in the past for various issues, but I think at the same time has allowed us, and not without what has allowed us really to sort of kind of get the fire and get the band as hot as it needs to be to make an impact. Thanks for watching Cheese on Toast. It's been a real pleasure to have this opportunity to speak to you. The album is New Hot Nights. The band is Luger Boa. It's out on May 2nd. See you later.